Good day. My report is about the Republic Act number 1160, or an act to further implement the free distribution of agricultural lands of the public domain as provided for in Commonwealth Act number 691 as amendment to abolish the Land Settlement and Development Corporation created under Executive Order number 355 dated October 23, 1950, and to create in its place the National Resettlement and Rehabilitation Administration and for other purposes. So very taas kayong title. So here in section 1, it is said that it is hereby declared to be the policy of the Congress to help speed up the free distribution of agricultural lands of the public domain to landless tenants and farm workers who are citizens of the Philippines, and to encourage migration to sparsely populated regions pursuant to the fundamental policy of the government to promote the level of production, employment, and living standards of the people. So, here in section 1, very clear kayo nun, very clear to say the distribution of land sa mga farm workers. So, in section 2, the National Resettlement and Rehabilitation Administration, so also known as the NARRA or the NARRA, and furtherance of the above policy, there is hereby created a corporation to be known as the NARRA, so the National Resettlement and Rehabilitation Administration, to perform under the supervision and control of the President of the Philippines through the Office of Economic Coordinators all the duties and functions of the Bureau of Lands as provided in Commonwealth Act numbered 691 as amended, and such other duties as hereinafter specified in this Act. It shall be headed by the General Manager and an Assistant General Manager who shall be appointed as hereinafter provided. So very clear this created corporation. So section 3, the NARRA shall have at least 3 divisions. So very clear to wet. The number 1 is to settler, selection, and screening. Number 2 is transportation and supplies, and the settlement. Number 3 is the settlement assistance and community work. The General Manager shall submit at the beginning of its fiscal year, but not later than July 31, a program of activities for the whole fiscal year together with the budget of expenditures to support such program for the final approval of the President of the Philippines. So section 3, here that's all for section 3. So let's proceed to the section 4 and section 5. So here there are the 2 powers, the general powers and the special powers. So here in section 4, the general powers, the NARRA is hereby authorized to adopt, after and use an official seal to make contracts to lease or own the real and personal property, and to sell or otherwise dispose of the same, to should and to make such regulation as are necessary to execute the functions vested in it by this act. So that's all the general powers. So in section 5, the special powers, NARRA is authorized to give land subject to the qualification, So, nada siya qualification, no? Requirements and conditions prescribed by the Public Lands Act and under the terms and conditions as may be defined by the Board of Directors. To landless citizens of the Philippines who need, deserve, and are capable of letting the land, to facilitate the settlement, acquisition, and cultivation of agricultural lands. So very clear in the section 5, number 1 and 2. So another is to acquire by purchase such agricultural portions of land that states as may be directed by the President of the Philippines for the prosecution of the policy stated in section 1 of this activity. Another is to reclaim swamps and marshes, obtain the letter thereof where feasible, and to support them into agricultural lands for settlement. So that's all for the section 5. So let's proceed to the section 6. In addition, so it's all about also the NARRA. In addition to the function and duties specified and to implement the same property, the NARRA shall undertake the following activities. So number 1, to select and screen applicants for allocation within the areas set aside for purposes of settlement in the public domain who so there is the application bona fide farmers in a highly settled areas, do not own any land with an area of 5 hectares or more, have not owned any homestead home, have not secured any homestead rights from any homesteader, are capable of discharging their responsibilities as settlers, and shall work the land in the settlement areas as the basis of the family-operated family-type farms, provide that is selecting applicants, the following order to priority shall be observed. So this is very clear. Another is to assess settlers in transporting themselves, their belongings, work, animals, and farm equipment, if any. So grabe digid ni sila kahayahay, no? Tagaan pagyuta, asisan pa. So wala na, yung pinakahayahay. From the communities from which they are migrating to the settlement areas reserved for the purpose, and for subsistence necessary until created can be provided by the Agricultural Credit and Cooperative Financing Administration, or the ACCFA, under the section 13 of this act, or by any other credits institution by loaning to them the full amount required, such as purposes. So that's the section 6. So now there's the section 7, the Board of Directors, its composition, tenure of office, and meetings. The powers and function of NARRA shall be exercised by a Board of Directors to be composed of the chairman and 5 members. Di basta-basta na siya. So another is from the section 8, powers and duties of the Board of Directors. So the Board of Directors shall have the following powers and duties. So to prescribe, amend, and repeal by the laws, rules and regulations governing the manner in which the general business of NARRA. So di basta-basta dahil po daw. Another is to appoint and fix the term of office of the general manager and assist the general manager, whose compensation shall be 12,000 pesos per annum for the general manager and 9,000 pesos per annum for the assistant general manager, subject to the recommendation of the Office of Economic coordination and the approval of the President of the Philippines, and to appoint and fix the compensation of the Secretary of the Board and such other officers of the corporation as may be needed. So the section 9 again, it's all about the NARRA and the Board of Directors. NARRA shall be the custodian and administration of the public lands, the reserve or may hereafter be reserved by the President of the Philippines for resettlement. All lands actually reserved for the Land Settlements and Development Corporation, the LASEDESCO, and the agricultural lands surveyed and subdivided under Commonwealth Act number 691. So, Section 10, the Land Settlement Development Corporation created under Executive Order number 355 dated in October 23, 1950, known as the short as LASEDESCO, is hereby abolished and its obligations under said executive order, except its commercial accounts, which are to be paid as hereinafter provided, are hereby transferred to the Treasury of the Philippines to be amortized over the period of 15 years, subject to the availability of funds of the government. Tapos kaya yung niyang under sa section 10 yung niyang pagkasulat. So that's all for now. Thank you. Bye-bye.